Hello and welcome to another Call of Dragons video. I'm Sergeant J, and today we're going to be talking about build speed in Call of Dragons. So to start out, we're going to be doing destruction, destruction of this tower. So I just want to show destruction as well because the speed is 1 HP per second slower for destruction than it is for construction or building. So my friend Velcro Shoes is going to be demonstrating. He's got this Ordo and Craig with a very strong potion of vigor, and T5s. So he can actually max the speed for one legion that the game allows. So for construction, it's 11.3 HP per second, but you could see here, now that he used his artifact, he's got full max speed at 10.3 HP per second. So it doesn't matter if he continues to improve his artifact skill or the number of soldiers, that's the highest possible. Now with two legions, you see, it only went up 0.31. So 10.61 is actually the maximum speed for destruction when you have two legions at the target. And then you see three legions now, it only went up another 0.3. So I can tell you from doing this many times and a lot of research, 10.91 is the maximum speed possible for destruction using three legions. And now with four, it should go up another 0.3. Yep. So we see four legions, maximum destruction speed is 11.21. And then the fifth legion, so it's from now on, it's going to increment only at 0.3 or 0.31 HP per second. So we see the fifth legion added 0.31. So really the increment is 0.305 for every legion after this. And then there's a total max speed. So if you sent if the Alliance sends like 45, 50 more legions to this tower to destroy, eventually it'll get full and it won't let you send more. The maximum max speed, the total max speed for destruction and building is actually the same, even though building starts out lower. So the max speed is 20.91. After that, you won't be able to add any more legions, and that will be as high as it goes. Now, the reason I'm showing this, and I'll be able to display it, demonstrate it better in construction, is that I want to show the best way for an alliance to safely destroy or build an alliance building. Because once you reach this max speed, you can get away with sending. There you saw an invisible legion just add another 0.3 HP per second to the speed. So now we've got 6 legions. So back to what I was explaining, I can add another legion to this that's only consists of 250 infantry units, T4s, with Craig with the potion of vigor, and then go AFK. And those 250 T4 infantry will do just as much destruction power to this tower as if another tank showed up to destroy it with a really good Ordo Craig combination. So what I've done with my alliance is I've told them, okay, we need 2 tanks at the target, right? Or 2 engineer teams at the target. And I won't even start a tower until I've got those 2 engineer teams in place. And then I put a marker up here, a bookmark saying everyone send legions of 300 troops. Now, one thing you saw, my friend Velcro Shoes, he was able to use all 5 legions to destroy this tower. So that's another thing I think a lot of people don't understand. I mean, the experienced players do, but the newer players don't understand that you can send more than 1 legion to destroy an enemy building. Because when you're building, you can only send 1 legion per player. So generally you can get higher speeds faster and easier with less people online when you're destroying a tower than if you are building a tower. Um, so now I'm going to pause the video and show you construction. Okay, so to show the building, the way building works, I've got my friend Sumatan here that sent 212,000 troops with his Craig. So Craig and Ordo have the highest speed on their skills. So depending on which talents you put will determine whether or not Craig should be your first or Ordo should be your first. But I told Sumatan to wait a second before using the artifact because I want to show that right now it's got 9.53 speed, and my Craig should add 7.78. But the second Legion of Builders will always get debuffed. So I won't have 16 here. I won't even have the max for 2 legions. I have 11.11. Now I'm going to tell him to use the artifact. And I will show you, hopefully, that the maximum build speed for 2 people is... Oh, it's a road. I forgot. So you saw that with destruction of a tower, the highest speed for one person was 10.3, and the highest speed for 2 people was 10.6. But you see, when he used the artifact, the speed didn't go up. And I'll use my artifact too, and you'll see the speed still hasn't gone up. That's because the max for building a road is 0.5 lower than the max for building a tower or a keep. The reason being, when you start a road, by default, it will build at 0.5 HP per second. But when you start a tower or a keep, by default, it will auto build at 1.0 HP per second. So anyway, I was expecting 11.6 here because I forgot it was a road. Anyway, so now I've got one more player that's going to be sending hopefully a really strong legion to help build this road, because you can see 10.8. Okay, Sumatan's got a really powerful engineering legion. 10.8 is actually the highest you can have speed-wise for building a road. If you remember from 2 minutes ago in this video, before he activated his hammer, his potion of vigor, he was at 9 point something. So 212,500 infantry with a good Craig and a good Nico, and using the potion of vigor, can max the engineering. So after this point, he doesn't have to upgrade that potion of vigor any more than he already has, and he doesn't have to add any more engineering to his Craig. He can add other skills like speed, or there's like talents that make you take less damage if you're attacked while you're building. So there's a lot of other talents that you can focus on. You don't have to focus 100% on engineering just to contribute the maximum to your alliance buildings. So anyway, going back to this, the reason why roads are 10.8 instead of 11.3 max for one legion is because roads naturally build at 0.5 less than a tower. Okay, now I had to change engineers. Sumatan went to bed, and so I had to get ANHPT here with his engineering legion. And Fire Dancer is demonstrating that with these 2 legions building together, we've reached the max, which is that same 11.11. And now what I want to show is that once you reach the max, whether or not it's with just 1 legion or with 2, or with 3, every other legion after that can send. And I'm actually going to test it right now. I've never sent this few troops, but I'm going to try this. We'll just do 50. Um, yeah, I thought that I just tested 85 and 75. I edited the video so it wouldn't be too long, but 85 infantry and 75 both maxed this out at 11.41. So now we're going to try this 50. And I'm quite sure that 50 will be the first one that's less than 0.3, and it is. So this shouldn't max it out. If it does, then I've learned something new. Okay, it maxed it out. So what that means is that because ANHPT, his builders are so strong, and then Fire Dancer added another 29,000 infantry as opposed to just 150 or 200, then they've overmaxed the engineering needed for two players to get maximum speed, which is 11.11. So if you have two tanks or two engineers at a build site or construction site, every additional player until you reach the ultimate max of 20.91 HP per second, every additional player in the alliance won't have to sacrifice, or not sacrifice, but won't have to risk losing a bunch of their infantry the next time some cavalry legion with T5s comes around to try to wipe all of our builders. And so this is particularly important for the players that I worked with because I was R5 of like a second tier alliance in a bigger alliance. And you can see I could probably send 24 infantry to this build site. And if somebody comes around and starts killing builders, the maximum that I could end up in my hospital are another um, are 25. So you see Jaden finally got back online and joined. So now I can show what the maximum is for 4 legions. So obviously Jaden maxed it out for 3 at 11.41. And now we're going to see this is the max for 4 legions, 11.71. And once again, roads build at 0.5 HP per second slower than towers and keeps. So the max speed for 4 legions when you're building a tower or a keep is going to be 0.5 higher than this. It's going to be 12.21. Okay, but the crazy thing is that because Jaden, Fire Dancer, and ANHPT together have more than enough engineering to max this out for 3 legions, it doesn't matter how many the 4th legion sends. So even with just 24 infantry, I mean, it's a good Craig and a good artifact, but even with just 24 infantry, we've reached the max at 11.71. So the conclusion is that if you're in an R4 or an R5 and you have a bunch of players that are complaining, oh, I've got too many troops in my hospital, I need to, take a break for 24 hours and try to heal up. The best way to avoid that situation is to have them send very few builders to the build site or destruction site. And that way, when someone comes around to try to kill builders, because it's always going to happen, they won't end up with a bunch of infantry in their hospital. And so there's no excuse not to have, 20, 35 builders on a road or a tower, unless you're building multiple buildings at once, then there's a good excuse. And the same with destruction. There's no reason that every player that's online and active can't send 3 legions of 25 units each. Because you can see now 11.71 really is the maximum for 4 legions. Whether I send 24 infantry or 139,000 infantry. So I hope you've enjoyed this video. I've taken a lot of time to study the different buildings, the different types of buildings, and see what the maximum speed is, depending on whether you're building or destroying. Just to recap, the max speed total that an alliance can deal to destroying a tower, or building a road or a building is 20.91. Once you reach that, you can't add any more legions to the mix. And then as far as maxing out your build speed, you don't need to have 10 tanks or 10 engineers with the potion of vigor at the construction site. All you need is one or two, and everyone else can literally just send 25 units. Although I prefer to send, it's still good to send 400 or so because 25 will die even if they get hit with just like an artifact that was targeting someone else and they were just in the range. So it could still be good to send like 3 or 400, but if someone's going AFK and they have a really full hospital already, just have them send 25 or 125 units to the build site, and then they can go AFK and not have to worry about it. And again, this applies to destruction as well. Just ask all your members to send 3 legions of 150 units each to destroy, and just check on them every 45 minutes to an hour. And if they die, who cares? Just send 3 more legions. So I hope that you got a lot out of this video, and like and subscribe. I don't put out too many videos, but if I have some really good information to share, then I will. So there's no reason not to subscribe to my channel. Thanks.